What's up, fam?
It's that time.
Neural Network News time.
Hey, let's go.
Listen up, it's the Podmasters of the AI, broadcasting live from Irvine. We'll fly. Podmasters of the AI, in the podcast we roll.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 26.
You've heard about it, DeepSeek. It just hits different from NVIDIA, Model R1, and everything in between. We'll plug in.
Additionally, we're going to do a brain dump on infrastructure development, Stargate, XAI, Meta, OpenAI.
Ooh, copyright ruling is a W for creators. So are you creating AI within the bounds of ruling?
And OpenAI releases, including the new O3 Mini, Deep Research Agent, and the Think feature.
No. All of the OpenAI fun stuff. New models, updates as well from Alibaba Qwen, Mistral Small 3, and a new name, Tülu 3, from a Seattle-based nonprofit. We'll cover that.
The age of unsupervised self-driving begins. We're going to dig into Tesla and Google's Waymo and the details on that.
So we've got video releases, Pika 2.1, High-Lows Minimax, a new director model that slaps. We have samples. Oh, and another music. Well, it's called Ruffusion FUZZ.
And if that wasn't enough, an AI model called ESM3 simulated 500 million years of evolutionary processes and designed a new protein.
We're getting into the medical world of AI. So plugging out of AI.
Time to plug it into some craft red ale.
Our favorite time of the show, we drink a beer.
All right. So this week, we are featuring Enegren Brewing Company. Shout out to Moore Park, California, rep in Ventura County. Mm-hmm. This is called Valkyrie. It's a German red ale. Let's give it a shot.
All right. So let's crack it open. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have our famous red ale. It's Ignat's favorite style of beer.
Yes, my favorite style of ale is a red ale. To me, that's what beer is.
What does it pair well with?
Brisket, grilled red meats, barbecue, bratwurst. Basically, this is the beer you want to have with your steak.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It was good. Yeah, it was good with
Delicious.
the brisket.
Yep.
So, as we get into our headlines, we're going to start off with DeepSeek. The deepest of seeks.
All right, DeepSeek.
For AI news, it really happened with DeepSeek and why the markets crashed as a result.
That shows DeepSeek may have actually distilled a lot of the data from...
As you know, have you heard, NVIDIA had a big market loss, one of the biggest in history, almost close to overall in the entire market, almost $1 trillion. NVIDIA stock shed nearly $600 billion as DeepSeek shakes the market. So what is DeepSeek? Basically released a new version, which is called R1. It was play on their V3, which actually was released in December. But R1 just was released, and it excels in reasoning-intensive tasks, including code generation, debugging, math, computational experience, all of that. The reason why it's so groundbreaking is because of the cost.
DeepSeek R1, which is free, has performance reportedly on par with OpenAI's $200 a month model. And this is performance in the context of tasks such as language reasoning, mathematics, and coding. The free model also beats out Anthropic's Claude Sonnet and Google's Gemini.
It has comparison with the other models because it was so cheap. It did not cost as much as billions and billions that some of the other models were trained. It was trained at a lot lower amount, roughly $5.6 million to train R1 versus the billions that ones like OpenAI do train on. The architecture, this is interesting. The architecture is called a mixture of experts, or MOE architecture, utilizing 671 billion parameters across multiple expert networks, but only requiring 37 billion parameters for a single pass.
The cost efficiency of doing inference with only 7 billion parameters rather than 700 billion parameters is impressive. The possibility of being able to do more model training and inferencing with less usage of power and less chips is impressive. It doesn't mean, though, that chip demand is at risk. What I think it means is you're more likely to see an acceleration of AI.
It's a mixture of experts, so it decides on what is the most efficient way to answer the question that you have. It's not going to use its entire system, it's just going to use a part of its system.
What mixture of experts will do is have trained a specific part of this network, a much smaller part, to solve that problem for you. And so you basically have the early stages will route the question to different parts of the network and then only activate a small part of it, let's say 30 billion parameters.
So it's only 37 billion parameters for a single pass rather than the full entirety of the network. Also got a speed boost. So this was interesting, where the code for it was written by R1 to self-improve. AI self-improving is coming. These are just a smattering of what's to come this year.
It rewrote the project to make it better. Okay.
Yeah, it made it faster.
Yeah.
So I found basically it was thinking through its code, and it changed some of the way that the code is presented and how it operates, and changed its code to make it faster.
This is a Chinese startup founded in 2023 by Wenfeng, Liang Bengfeng, who also co-founded a quantitative hedge fund called Highflyer. Basically, they had a bunch of extra compute power, so this was a side project. DeepSeek was a AI project, was a side project for them.
They had all those extra, all those extra computers. They're like, well, I'm going to work on a side project because
they have the compute to do it. Okay, how do they do it? Kyla Scanlon had a quick explanation. Apparently, they had to get creative because they were export restrictions on American chips to China.
Resource constraints fuel creativity. The sanctions from the U.S. were a rallying force to get behind.
There is indicators that they've used basically NVIDIA products illegally for them. There's also reports that they've used OpenAI's APIs.
Yeah. They use their system to basically train this system. So it's a copy of a copy, I would say. As AI gets more efficient and accessible, we'll see the use of chips skyrocket into basically AI being a commodity. And this is called Jevons paradox. Satya Nadella actually had a post about it as well. So if you've never heard of it before, basically, this came out of the Industrial Revolution. More efficient steam engines led to more coal use, not less. Today's parallel, GPUs and intelligence are our coal.
But the idea is that as intelligence gets cheaper and cheaper, we won't just lose all the jobs that currently require intelligence. We will just use intelligence in more and more places.
It'll probably create jobs that we can't even think of right now.
Yeah.
Because the demand for this technology and this power will be so much increased, and we're going to come up with creative ways to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll create new industries upon industries. Yeah.
More efficiency doesn't mean less consumption. It means more applications. Implications. What is the implication, and what are the things that need to be watching out for? Alert.
Red alert!
It's still a Chinese company.
Still a Chinese company.
So whatever you put it into their models is gonna go to China. Your other option, you want to be scrutinized by U.S. companies, U.S.
Or do you want it to be scrutinized by Chinese companies?
By the Chinese AI and intelligence,
Yeah. That's fun. So OpenAI, Sam did react. It was his only reactions. DeepSeek R1 is an impressive model, particularly around what they're able to deliver for the price. We'll obviously deliver much better models, and it's invigorating to have a new competitor. We will pull up some releases, and we have more releases. Switching gears to infrastructure. I love infrastructure. Picks and shovels.
Yeah, infrastructure, picks and shovels. Of course, at the steps of White House was announced the $500 billion project Stargate, financed by SoftBank, financed by Ellison of Oracle, and others just after the inauguration. Zuckerberg reveals plans for $1.3 million NVIDIA GPUs and announced their Mesa, Arizona facility. He put in a recent post just a few days ago that Mesa is open for business. What we noticed is that in a warm and sunny place like Mesa, Arizona, there were no solar panels to capture that free solar energy. I feel like it was just like a commissioned building.
Yeah.
Without.
They just took the building.
They just took it. It's like one of those Airbnb style, turnkey kind of building. They just, hey, we need a building for our service, and boom, they just built one out for them on a contract without really not putting solar panels on the roof.
Why would they do? Zuck, what's going on?
Of a building that's going to require a ton of energy.
So with picks and shovels, there are also countries, including India. They announced plans to develop its own generative AI model powered by the India AI Compute Facility with just over 18,000 GPUs. Remember that number, 18,000 GPUs. Back in March, India announced a $1.25 billion AI investment dubbed India AI Mission, which includes funding for AI startups and developing its own kind of infrastructure. Altman is due to visit India again, I'm sure for business, but also because he's kind of in a court battle with copyright breaches.
With India?
Yeah, with India.
That's right. Cool. All right, and we can't talk about infrastructure if we don't cover xAI's Colossus project in Memphis. This data center is notable of hosting a record of 100,000 GPUs, and that's already built out. That's not some plans. That's already existed. That's already exists. Aimed at making Grok 3 the most powerful AI model to date. In the next phase, possibly
in the third phase,
they're gonna times 3 to 300,000 GPUs, utilizing the NVIDIA's Hopper H100s and Blackwell B200 GPUs. These developments suggest significant strides in computational power and AI capabilities for Grok.
And so when we were talking about India, their investing in their facility was just 18,000. This is 100,000, 200,000, and 300,000.
And that's already built out. It's not some plan. It's already built out. It's already what Grok is using. And remember, we talked about around the same time that they completed that. That's when Grok became available to all of the users pretty much for free.
Yeah.
And additionally, our boy Altman, he's been a busy boy. He visited
traveling everywhere.
He visited Halion Energy this week, who are building the first fusion power plant in Everett, Washington. The fusion startup Halion, which already has contracts with Microsoft, says its latest $425 million run of funding puts it on track to be generating electricity by 2028. Earlier this year, the advanced fission companies whose reactors are at least based on design that have in fact been built in labs before the past.
This fusion generator is unlike any other, using a completely novel approach to achieve nuclear fusion, adapting knowledge developed for ion propulsion in space. The generator forms two mirrored rings of plasma on either end of a reactor, converting the astonishing kinetic energy of the ions into thermal energy, raising the plasma temperature and allowing them to fuse, forming new atoms and releasing a tremendous amount of energy in the process. If all goes according to plan, each turning of the tides will push a world-changing electricity source onto our grids.
This fusion power plant produced energy to Microsoft by the year 2028. That makes sense, with Microsoft also being such a large investor in OpenAI. So they're building out their infrastructure so they can have the energy to run the models and run everything that they're doing.
Keep going. And so Sam is planning for the next kind of wall, per se, and that will be power.
There'll be the energy to run all these servers, obviously.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Copyright in AI.
Who is wondering about copyright? Because if you've been playing around with some of the stuff like we do, this is mildly important. So copyright now ruled that AI-human combined work can be copyrighted so long that a human is adding, changing, or selecting elements to it. So prompts alone do not usually produce copyrighted works because that's AI. And this was this week. So the U.S. Copyright Office had released a report clarifying the copyright status of AI-generated works.
So basically what they came down to is that works created solely by AI without any human creative input are not eligible for copyright protection. However, works that integrate human creativity with the AI-generated elements can be copyrighted, but only if there's a sufficient amount of human expression involved.
And what would we call sufficient?
And that's going to be like an arbitrary battle in the court, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This includes situations where humans modify, edit, arrange AI-generated content. The guidance specifies that merely providing prompts to an AI does not constitute authorship, but a lot of AI prompt engineering is that.
It is, yeah.
But human edits and arrangements can be protected.
Okay, OpenAI. Quite a few different things, starting with O3 Mini, which was just a big release because it's their next kind of model up. It is smaller and more efficient than the full O3 model. Great for lightweight tasks. It is one of those things that's going to be thinking, giving reasoning, and really starting to get to a more humanistic to how they come to the answer. So this is certainly something that's been released. It is certainly still not perfect. We don't feel like this is AGI yet. We certainly are getting close. A lot of the benchmarks put it way above everybody else. We'll put the benchmarks up here.
And Sam hints at a possible open source shift for older AI models as the competition heats up. But OpenAI remains closed on cutting edge tech, while he acknowledges the growing plausibility of AI self-improvement beyond human control.
So OpenAI did release a few other options available on their chat, which is one of them is called Use More Intelligence on intelligence or think. They also had an operator AI model, which is basically like an agent, but they also released Deep Research. It's their newest agent capable of doing comprehensive research on any topic. Somebody said, is absolutely mogged DeepSeek R1 on the humanities last exam benchmark. It scored a 25.3% on humanities.
So what does that mean? That OpenAI actually beat DeepSeek in something?
Humanities last exam recently released evaluation that tests AI across a broad range of subjects on expert level questions.
Today, we released Humanities Last Exam, which is a new evaluation or benchmark of AI models that we produced by getting, math, physics, biology, chemistry professors to provide the hardest questions they could possibly imagine that are relevant to their recent research to really put the test to the models. To give you a sense, no model is getting above 10% on this test.
Okay, so there we go. So the Mini did in fact beat DeepSeek. OpenAI Deep Research did 25% accuracy.
Yeah,
where DeepSeek did 9.4%.
So how do you benchmark and how do you gauge whether we're getting to AGI or like beyond human abilities? Humanities Last Exam is a groundbreaking AI benchmark. It's really designed to test the limits of AI and the frontiers of human expertise. So it's literally what it says, Humanities Last Exam, before you start getting beyond that. For the fact that this deep research secured to 25% is insane. So if you imagine, we'll say all the compendium of all tests, we'll say 70,000 tests across all subject fields. They were able to score 25% accuracy. That's still an F. Once we get to 100%, we already know it can answer literally everything. So when we get to 100%, then be worried.
No, that's if we're not worried right now. Huh?
Not worried right now. We're pushing through. 2025 is going to be an interesting year, and we're looking forward to it. We'll cover it. And what else did we get? Starting with Alibaba's Qwen release. This refers to the launch of their latest series of models called Qwen 2.5 Max, which also has a video model cover in a bit. But it employs a mixture of experts, which we talked earlier about, on their architecture. The model is integrated into Alibaba's cloud service, so it's accessible via the Model Studio API for developers.
Mistral Small 3 released a model designed to be competitive with larger models like LLaMA 3 and Qwen 32B, offering performance on par with models 3 times its size while being significantly faster, most efficient, and versatile model. 24 billion parameter beast delivers mind-blowing performance. Okay. And the new model Tülu 3 from a Seattle-based nonprofit AI research institute.
Nonprofit.
We've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's supposedly open source, access the models on platforms like Hugging Face. Of course, Hugging Face provides an open source hosting platform for machine learning. It's ideal for collaborative space where developers and researchers can share, discover, and fine-tune their AI models. Okay. Now let's get into the unsupervised age of self-driving, and specifically Tesla and Waymo. So Teslas now drive themselves from their birthplace at the Fremont factory to their designated loading dock lanes without human intervention. They just drive themselves one step closer to large-scale, unsupervised, full self-driving. Once the Tesla is made in Fremont, it'll drive itself to the loading area, which is 1.2 miles without any intervention from humans. The software is already here for a full autonomy, and the Tesla is to ramp up their and that will allow Tesla to ramp up their driverless taxi. And of course,
it's just funny seeing them rolling off the lots. I love the
right. And of course, we can't talk about self-driving if we don't cover Waymo. Waymo is operational in several markets. They are currently in San Francisco, Phoenix, LA, and ATX. And earlier this week, they announced that in Los Angeles, they'll open up to the 10 and at 110 freeways in downtown LA, according to the Waymo's graphic.
Who was driving it, or was on that? Recently,
I took a ride in driverless Waymo in a Waymo Jag in LA around New Year's. There's a video on our Instagram. We'll reference it here as well.
Yep.
But yeah, it seemed like a norm. Yeah, once you get over the fact that there is no driver in the car. It did not feel unsafe. It felt like, it got me from point A to point B. It got me very safe. It stopped it. It didn't do anything I would call dangerous or
no swerving.
Or aggressive or anything like that. It seemed to be controlled. The one distinction I want to make between what Tesla's doing and what Waymo's doing is Teslas are trained on the self-driving algorithm on millions and millions of hours of videos of actual humans driving, and that's how Tesla AI learned how to drive, because they told us these are the videos of excellent human drivers.
Yeah.
This is how you drive. And instead of setting parameters like stop at the red light or stop at the sign or make a left on a green arrow, actual rules, they just used the artificial intelligence, these self-learning models to learn from these countless hours of videos. And that's the difference between Waymo and how Tesla's training its self-driving algorithm. Yeah, well, basically in Atlanta, they said you'll be able to get them right to the Uber app, right? That's what something.
Yeah.
You'll be able to order a Waymo right out of your Uber app. They're partnering with Uber, and they're no longer doing it through their own app, just through Uber.
So with that, we have one more interesting article that popped up about an AI evolutionary system. What's that?
A new glowing molecule invented glowing. It emits light, invented by AI, would have taken 500 million years to evolve in nature, scientists say. An artificial intelligence model has created a new protein that researchers say would have taken, again, 500 million years to evolve in nature if nature were capable of producing such a thing. An AI model called ESM3 simulated all these millions of years of evolutionary processes and designed a new protein called esmGFP. The fluorescent protein is similar to the proteins found in jellyfish, could have applications in medicine. It exists only as a digital sequence right now and differs significantly from its known It differs significantly from known proteins. Research from the company called Evolutionary Scale published the results, which are now peer-reviewed. The novel protein engineered could revolutionize many areas, including the development of new drugs. Fluorescent proteins such as ESM, as this one, already being used in research to visualize biological processes. AI significantly accelerates this process and expands possibilities of protein modification.
We're getting into the world of AI influencing healthcare and biology.
I'm inclined to believe this is possible thanks to a recent breakthrough that solved one of the biggest problems of the last century. Over 6 decades, all of the scientists working around the world on proteins painstakingly found about 150,000 protein structures. Then, in one fell swoop, AlphaFold came in and unveiled over 200 million of them. Nearly all proteins known to exist in nature.
It was really hard to make brand new proteins that would do things. And so that's kind of the problem that we solved.
To do so, he uses the same kind of generative AI that makes art in programs like DALL-E. His technique, called RF diffusion, is trained by adding random noise to a known protein structure, and the AI figures out a brand new protein that does what you asked it to do. What are the applications you're most excited about?
So I think vaccines are going to be really powerful. We have a number of proteins that are in human clinical trials for cancer, and we're working on autoimmune disease now. We're really excited about problems like capturing greenhouse gases. So we're designing enzymes that can fix methane, break down plastic.
What makes this approach so effective is how fast they can create and iterate the proteins. What AI has done for proteins is just a hint of what it can do in other fields and on larger scales. In materials science, for example, DeepMind's GNOME program has found 2.2 million new crystals, including over 400,000 stable materials that could power future technologies, from superconductors to batteries. AI is pushing forward the boundaries of human knowledge at a rate never seen before.
You know, speedups of 2x are nice. Speedups of 100,000 times change what you do. You do fundamentally different stuff.
And that's what I'm excited about. These discoveries represent real step function changes in science.
That is really cool.
Let's continue on to my favorite portion, the video and music. So we're going to start off here with Pika. So Pika 2.1 was released. It has elements where you can take two different elements and put them together. But they just released a new model. It's pretty impressive. That's right, we watched this. Oh, the steampunk. Yeah, this person was so into steampunk and cyberpunk. It's interesting because there's still no sound. There's no sound effects, and we will cover it because I know this is going to be the next step where they start providing actual sound effects on top of the video that's being produced. So there's still a lot of physics problems and some artifacts that I'm kind of like, okay, I can still see it's AI. So we move on to Hilo's Minimax director model. What does that mean? Director model means that you can direct how the shots look. So let's take a look here real quick. Push in shot. Zoom out shot. Pan right. Look at those mountains. Great stuff.
Yeah, it looks really awesome. And you basically can direct the camera angle and camera direction.
They gave it the right title. As a director, you want to be able to control your subjects, your environment, and how the video looks. Being able to do that is a step forward in the video realm right now, especially with AI. Great stuff. So in the last one, we have Alibaba Qwen. So Alibaba released their 2.5 AI model, which has the ability to produce videos. And these are just some of the examples. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, from a year ago, it's great.
Right. Well, this looks totally realistic, right?
Yeah, we're getting close.
And which one is this one called? The one we're looking at? Is it Alibaba?
Alibaba Qwen, yeah. So that's Alibaba Qwen. So those are the three new models that we're certainly updating. And there are, granted, I know there's going to be a few others that are continually updating. But we had a new music one that just released. A Ruffusion FUZZ is a new release. Basically, they are a new platform you can certainly utilize. We've played around a little bit with it. It's, I would say, probably 80% of the way there from Suno. Suno still has some better dynamics than FUZZ, but it's free, it's easy to use, doesn't cost anything, which is nice. Okay. And our friends at 11 Labs, which is a AI startup specializing in voice replication technology. They successfully raised $180 million in a Series C funding round, valuating the company at $3.3 billion. 11 Labs is fantastic because I use them for all of our audio, random, like if I'm making, if I want to replicate an audio sound. All right, so it's time to shout out to our sponsor, CozySolutions.com. In San Diego, like the trendy North Park neighborhood or the beachy vibes of San Clemente, CozySolutions.com has you covered.
Their fully furnished homes and apartments are designed for ultimate convenience with their pet-friendly options, lightning-fast Wi-Fi, and locations so prime you'll feel like a local in no time.
Need flexibility? You can book their spaces for a month or two. Perfect for the extended stay or the extended vacation from a work-from-anywhere setup.
Ready to cozy up in style? Use promo code NNN to snag $199 off of your booking. Don't wait. Visit CozySolutions.com and find your perfect stay today.
So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to us. So don't forget to hit that like button and lets the algorithm know that you enjoy this kind of content and it supports the channel.
Please subscribe, hit the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload. Neural Network News.
Broadcasting the pulse of innovation. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching.
It's the promise of the AI broadcasting live from our